Hey guys, welcome to my little list of. This is my list of dedicated Supercars content podcasts and YouTube channels. You do a bit of everything, and it's not just about Supercars, as in you do stuff that is just about something else that isn't Supercars, then I'm sorry you don't make the cut. So, I did do one of these back in 2019. So, a lot of different stuff, a lot of stuff has come and gone since then. Pretty much, if it's not active, then it's not on the list. So, we have something that popped up recently, Apex Hunters United, which is run by Scott Pye, and it's pretty much just about supercars, and they talk about all sorts of racing, because they've obviously experienced lots of different racing. Yeah, that's been really good. They do a YouTube channel. I've got it on my podcast list because they call it a podcast, but I watched the whole thing on YouTube. I don't know. Apparently, you can watch it on as a podcast just with audio, but it popped up on YouTube and I subscribed straight away. I've been waiting for it after I saw a VOD on Twitch, and I thought, oh, this is great. I just like hearing some different perspectives, so that's really good. Then you got the driver's seat, which has been around for years. And they always talk about supercars, so that's still on the list. And yeah, I've been listening to that since 2018. I think it's been my favourite since 2018. Apart from when Below the Bonnet was around, that was good. The driver's seat is run by Stephen Johnson and Matt McKeldin. If you don't know who Stephen Johnson is, he's the son of Dick Johnson, who is a legend of the sport and owner of Dick Johnson Racing. So Stevie J runs the driver's seat podcast and talks with his mate Matt McKeldin, and they have a lot of great perspective and hot takes, and it's good banter and stuff like that. It's really good to listen to. Then you got Supercars official podcasts, and back in 2019 they didn't really have that sort of stuff. I think that maybe they started one later on in the year or whenever they did, but now they've got this one called the Cool Down Lap, which is what they do. Basically, Chad Nailon or whoever runs around with a microphone while all the teams are packing up after the weekend. Then you've got the debrief, which just started, which is Neil Crompton has a chat with whatever driver after the race weekend. So he spoke to Andre Heimgartner after Taupo. That was actually pretty good. It's pretty short, so it's like a brief debrief, while the cool down lap goes for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or something. It's pretty quick one. V8 Sleuth, everything they do is about the V8s, obviously. So they got the V8 Sleuth podcast. They did a couple with Barry Rogers, which is very insightful and good to listen to. Then you got the Motorsport News podcast, where they talk about all sorts of motorsport news, but they do mention supercars because they sort of have to when they're called V8 Sleuth. Castrol Supercars Weekly, pretty much a weekly news podcast, and it's a lot shorter as well. Then you got the BJR Rundown, which was around last year, I think, and the year before maybe, where Macaulay Jones and I think their manager of BJR, they just have a chat talking about things going on, which is always good to listen to. I think they did one recently with Brad Jones. We're talking about Oscar and NASCAR, so that'll be great to listen to. Then you got Inside Supercars with Craig Revell and Matt Whitlock. That's been going on for years, and I keep forgetting about it because there's so many podcasts these days that I've got so many different interests that I forget what ones that I want to listen to. But those guys have been journalists for 30 years, and they have there's so many different things that they talk about that are interesting. They have a lot of different people to talk to, so you get a lot of different insight, a lot of different perspectives. It's really good. So Speed Cafe has lots of different podcasts, but none of them are dedicated to supercars. But the only one that I've decided to count in this list is Polarizer with Paul Morris and Roland Dane. But honestly, I don't think it's very polarizing. I think it's like what I feel would be great is if they sort of had a podcast where there was a driver, a team owner, maybe a mechanic or a manager, something like that. So you've got a bit of a pecking order, and then a fan. And then you've got, it's like a council, like a Supercars council podcast. So if someone does that, someone pulls that crap together, that'll be great. And you get all the different perspectives, because from the fan you'd get what it's like to go to races, just the little things that you got to deal with when you go to races. From a mechanic's perspective, they're a bit more involved in setting up the weekend. Yeah, and the manager sees overall, and the driver just sees what the driver's got to do. So there's great stuff like that. So those are the podcasts. Then we got YouTube channels, and obviously you got me, because I just do supercar stuff on this channel. Then there used to be different ones, but these days there's Supercars Talk and Fan at the Fence and Peggles. They all have over 1,000 subscribers, and I guess I just need to get my crap together, and then I'll have more subscribers. Every single team has a YouTube channel as well, I think. There might be one that doesn't, but off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure every single team has a YouTube channel. Some of the drivers have YouTube channels. Not all of them are like regularly posting. So that's just the way it is, but they are out there. But for those of us who do regular content and are still active, and we're all just fans, you got me, Supercars Talk, Fan at the Fence, and Peggles. And we all have a different sort of style as well. So Supercars Talk he just sort of goes off the cuff. He's got his notes, he's got his own ideas. Fan at the Fence is a bit more introduction to supercars, but there are obviously great topics that he likes to talk about as well. I'm probably more niche, because I'm not trying to talk to people who don't know about supercars. I'm trying to talk to the diehards, to the people who are really into it. And we have great discussions about stuff, and then I'll get shamed for my opinions or something, or be told I'm just flat out wrong, but that's alright. Peggles likes to do fun little videos, and he had to change the outro of his channel when Jack Smith retired, so that was a fun little thing. Supercars Talk is probably the older of those three channels, but I've been doing supercars content since 2018. I used to do essay videos, and now I do just sort of off the cuff, talking about stuff and putting pictures in the videos. And then sometimes I do have notes, like now I've got my lists, because I just don't have the mental capacity to remember things, apparently. So yeah, that's my list. If you've got any podcasts or YouTube channels that you want to bring up that are dedicated supercars content, put them in the comments, and then more people will know. Cheers.